just felt so tired this morning. We turned up yesterday afternoon for our walk, and the whole river was completely flooded in a really ferocious way, and I hadn't brought my phone because I was charging it up, and and I thought, oh, how nice to go for a walk along the Burline, or how nice to go for a walk without my phone, right? And then that day, yesterday, I turned up, and it was one of the most spectacular sights I'd ever seen. One of the most spectacular sights I'd ever seen, because the whole river was completely and utterly, like today it's a still flood, but yesterday it was like a real turbulent, ferocious, high pressure flood, because it was lower. It was really high. Everything was covered up, but it was low enough that that it was hitting all of the spots to create waves and turbulences. And I was, oh, the one day I don't have my phone. And then I thought, I'll get down here early. Actually, I'm not gonna feel like it's rude when I'll just put my glasses back on my car. Hopefully no one will steal them. I don't think anyone would take someone else's glasses off a car. Just keep it simple today. So basically I'm going to show you the river. So this, where that tree is, between that tree and that tree is normally where I park my car. So this is the circle, so we drive around there, down there, and then we come up. So this is actually the road. And then the sad thing about yesterday, oh look, I don't want to say it's sad, but yesterday the dogs and I went for a walk, and we were able to still walk the river, and you could see where I could say, oh, that's where we were walking the day before. But we were actually still able to walk the river, whereas today it's so flooded we can't even do any of the walks. Like, I don't even know how we're going to do any of the walks today, but we're going to try. Here's the dogs. Okay, so yeah, just amazing, isn't it? So we had that deluge of rain. And oh, look at the blues off the water. Isn't that amazing? So that's part of the road down there, and that's, you know, that's that little pond that we used to go swimming in over there. Isn't that a stunning blue on the water? I have to say, I'm really impressed with this camera. Now, see, we can't walk today. Look at this. We're completely flooded in. Look, that's, wow. So we're going to find another walk today. So normally what we do, peoples, right? So normally, so just have to remember that's the road that goes down, and we park the car down there, and then we could walk along the pathway up there, which yesterday I was, but when it comes to subsides I'll be able to show you. And then, yeah, but there you go. That's the Avon in flood. It's spectacular, isn't it? So we'll go try to find another walk today. I thought we might be able to walk through there, but no. But I'll go this other way. Yeah, I made a decision yesterday because of missing. I mean, I can still show to you that it's in flood. In fact, it's higher today than it was yesterday. But yesterday I could show you more because I could walk with it in it. It wasn't so high. I could still be part of it. Whereas today it's excluding us. Oh, I didn't bring my prescription glasses, but I'm assuming that's that plastic pipe that's on the ground. That's normally on the ground way under, and it floats up. I don't know what that's about. So funny to think that we're just behind where the dogs are is where we normally park the car. And where you can see the flow on the river, that's actually the where the river should be. And yesterday that's where the water was up to, and I could still drive down there. But I just thought until I find another spot over here to show you. What is to be is to be. Like, so every year, so I showed you, I haven't put up the video, but I showed you, yeah, I just find it all fascinating. I don't know what to show you, but I already showed it to you before. That's the road going down. That's my little car. Yep, amazing, hey? And it gets higher than this. In winter, it gets much higher. Like, those trees are covered. What's destined to be is destined to be. Like this river, every year this happens. So I've been here 16 months in northern Western Australia, the Avon wheat belt, and there were some people here yesterday. Oh yeah, every year this happens, and I was like, so I said to my neighbour last night, so I'm gonna have to prep my gutters early March for the floods. She goes, yeah, we always get our March, April floods. So it's amazing. It's just a big log getting swept down. There's so much force in that. So much force in all of that water underneath. It seems all quiet on the top. But basically, yeah, prepping. So when you have the cycle, so this is my second summer in Northern, and pending is my second winter. So next year I know to clear out the gutters early March to make sure there's no leaves, so that when the rains come in, all the gutters work. Because that's why I was having all that. When I took that video, I missed the most impressive part. But what is interesting is I did get that video, that YouTube, of when me and the dogs we came down to the river for a walk, right? And it started to sprinkle, and then it got heavy. Then we're in absolute torrential rain. Absolutely torrential rain. And when we got home, it was a deluge. And then there was, remember, my backyard got everywhere. It was supposed to be waterproof. Everywhere I had my building materials that had got to be kept dry, it was all wet. And I was unprepared. But next year I won't be. Yep. We're blocked here a little bit too. Anyways, I'm going to go up this way. I've got boots on today. I'm wearing boots. I don't know if you can see them. So yesterday when we went for our walk, it's all wet in there too. Yesterday when we went for our walk, we walked quite far, and because I had my boots on, I actually really wish I'd had my phone yesterday, because it was miraculous. Because I was walking in the riverbed with water flowing everywhere, and it was flowing fast and hard, turbulated, and it was beautiful. But you know, as it comes down tomorrow, as it subsides, the turbulation will still be there, but the power, see, the thing is, the water's flowing down from the north, from the flooding from up north. So once that flood's passed, but the thing is, once that flood's passed, the water will recede, but it won't have the same power that it did yesterday. So I kept going, oh, I wish I had my camera. Well, I don't. Let it go. And then even in bed last night, I was going, oh, I wish I'd taken my camera yesterday. That was amazing footage. I wonder if there'll still be water in the river tomorrow, which there is, and more. But now it just looks really peaceful and overflowing. Not complaining. I still think it's fascinating. I'm still glad. But yeah, it was really interesting. I was in bed last night going, I have to make sure I take my camera with me all the time, because it's such an amazing experience to be able to record something whenever you feel to. And that's part of the reason why I wonder if this seat's going to be full. This seat that you can sit at, I wonder if it's going to be underwater. I reckon it might even be underwater. There's actually a bench down here. Uh-oh, that wasn't designed well. I'll show it to you. So that bench is normally really high. So you sit on that bench and you look out onto the water, and there's a big embankment going down, and you probably can't visualise. But yeah, yesterday I've made a decision that from now on I'm taking my camera with me all the time. It's not about whether I want to leave my phone home or not. It's about whether I want to leave my camera home or not, and no more. There's so much to document about this wonderful. It's almost like she's prepping for winter or something. The colours in the wheat butter are astounding. And I learnt hello. Hi, how are you? What do you think of the water?
Not bad, but just overnight.
2 nights, not last night, but the night before. We came here yesterday and it was all flooded and...
Oh, I came in yesterday, but the sandbank was still there. It wasn't fine.
I know, yesterday we walked along the river and you could still walk part of the river and part of it, but now we can't walk anywhere. It's completely flooded.
Yep. Flowing fairly fast.
Like up there's flooded, so I can't walk up there at the moment.
And it's going over the weir pretty quick.
Is it? Well, we're just having a little walk here. I don't know where else to walk them right now. What are you like just checking the river out or?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not here to hassle me?
No.
I bring my dogs here every day because it's one place. Oh, you're sure of Northern, not Rangers. Oh, you're not Ranger.
Oh, Rangers.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like this is one place I can walk where I can just let them have fun, and we walk for about an hour up the river.
Yep.
It's quite special.
Where's your car?
It's over there because normally, you know where it's all flooded right now. Normally I park under the trees, but that's underwater at the moment. Oh gosh. So this is normal, is it? This happens every year?
I don't know.
Are you just new here?
I've been here 2 years now. Come up to 2 years.
Well, I met a local yesterday. He says it happens every year. But I don't know if it's normally this high. But last year, right, not 2 years ago, it flooded more than normal.
Yeah, we had all that heavy rain. Not this summer gone, but summer before.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, I've never seen it go up so quick.
Oh, you haven't seen it go up so quick? Is this unusual?
Yeah. Well, for me it is.
I was fascinated. I came here yesterday, and the thing, like, we could just walk it. But then today, this is unwalkable now. Everything like up there, the water's gone up to the Avon Sands fence almost. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Where it's slanted, so that's unwalkable now up there. And I don't know what it's like over here, but I'm going to keep seeing.
It's scary. Scary for rain.
There's more rain coming.
Well, like towards Thursday.
So if it rains more, then we'll be in a flood. Then it'll be like an outright flood, like where we're...
Yeah, it depends on how quick this goes, really.
Yeah, right. Well, it's gone up significantly. Like, what, 4 metres?
Yeah, it's only a metre off coming up back there, so...
Oh, life, eh? Oh, my gosh. Well, I'll keep walking the dogs up there.
Hope they don't like swimming.
No, they love swimming, what?
They'll be really paddling in there.
Oh, no, they go in the water. Okay, there's someone else with dogs. Oh, you got dogs in the back.
No, this is fine.
Oh.
Just take them.
Should I go now? See ya.
Yeah.
That was the ranger, and I actually thought he was going to hassle me for the I was almost going to stop the YouTube, and I went, nah, I'll keep it going just in case it's just a short chat. But I was like, oh, don't hassle me for having my dogs off lead, please. No, he was just coming here to check out the water. But that's actually what happened. When I first saw him, I went, oh, please don't hassle me for having the dogs off lead. They deserve to have dogs off lead. You know, like this place, right? There are people that come here, but it's not a tourist spot. And you know, it takes me, I have to drive to come here. Um, and yep, and I went, just going to chat to him like he's a person, not going to move into it with fear. He had no intentions of hassling me out with the dogs. It's good to do that. I'm like that with police too, because I've got a history of, you know, there are things that have happened in the past when I was young and upgoing, and what's the jiggity? YouTube censors things when you talk about stuff like that, but I actually have dealt with SEX HARRASSEMENT from POLICE in really horrific circumstances. First time was when I was 15 and up. So, you know, I'm one of those people that's had some pretty bad experiences. And I've let all of that go because my experience of being in Northern, I've only ever been treated with kindness and compassion and support from the POLICESs. They're the ones that actually got me to look at my life situation in a way I was unable to before. They were the ones that said, you are in a psychologically abusive relationship. You know, and it was so interesting because one, it helped me start to learn how to trust POLICEs again. Well, in a way I've never had ever. So now I trust them, trust the rangers. I go into a situation now just knowing you can't, just because of something that's happened in the past doesn't mean, you know, yeah, you know, that was a nice guy. He's just there. So the river's gone up really fast. So Northern's about to go and flood. He reckons if the rain, he reckons we've got more rain coming in Northern Thursday, and already we're about to lose our bridge. But yeah, it's quite water, fire, nature. Nature's one of those things where you got to work with it. You got to work with it because it's a power of its own, isn't it? It's completely a power of its own. I'm wondering if the river goes up any higher, where can one take dogs for walks? But the interesting thing is we will be blocked off. We will actually get blocked off from being able to drive out of Northern. So that's a bit alarming, really, isn't it? I'll just turn around for a second. Yeah, it's quite fascinating. So when this starts to go down, I'll show you what this end looks like when the river's down. But that just 2 days ago was all sand out there. Like there was no water. But back to what is meant to be is what occurs. This is like relates to divine destiny. It relates to cycles of nature, cycles of life. And it's an amazing experience when we live in that place of surrender. When we live in that place of accepting that we are so small and the universe and life is got its own rhythm, and we have our own free will, of course, within the rhythm, and we can make the destiny harder. Like we can block our destiny. And the interesting thing is if we block our destiny, that's actually when our life becomes really challenging. Now, in saying that, disclaimer, a child and a young person can't deliberately, so we'll unpack that further in the future, but we get to a certain point when we are aware of callings, passions, we're aware of our inner voice, what our soul's telling us. We become mindful of who we are. Our personality starts getting really developed. And it's at that point that a lot of people choose to comply to what other people want them to be, or they keep themselves small with no one even asking them to, just to fit in because they're too scared of being isolated. without even having the courage to think, well, maybe everyone else also wants to be freely expressed and show who they really are. And if I step up, then everyone can step up. And the abandonment of letting our true self go in order to fit in is what actually, unfortunately, a lot of people do. Because the worst thing for human beings and animals is to be excluded from the pack. That's why there's certain tribes where if someone does a crime, the punishment for like we're talking about a really serious crime, the actual punishment is exclusion from the community. They are ostracized, they are exiled, they're exiled from the community, and that is their punishment. And out in the wild and everything, they will actually eventually die, because just as a one lone person out in amongst the wilderness, they won't survive anyways. But it's up for the wilderness and God and nature to take the person, not the people of the tribe. So because everyone knows that this is the punishment for the crime, these tribes have very little crime. Can you imagine if we did that in our culture? I mean, where would we put them though? We haven't got enough wilderness, but we sort of do. Anyways, blah, blah. But in saying that, I'm part of a thing called Doof community, Doof subculture. And we're self-monitored. And we have dance parties up to 1,500 people and no security, because we have an accountability system. So if you do the wrong thing, you don't get invited to another party. But if you really do the wrong thing, what actually happens is a group of people will actually get that person, drive them out to a highway, get them really far away from the actual doof. Like, we're talking about people who are doing really dangerous stuff that puts people's lives at risk, okay? Like really serious stuff. That person will be actually taken away from the doof and put on a highway. And I think then they also might ring the police or the ambulance and say, there's this person on the highway. I don't remember what they do at that point, sorry, because I'm not that VIP and I don't bother with the security element of doof, so I don't bother with that part of it. I just do the looking out for someone who might need help, and then alert the promoters that certain people might need help. But anyways, we do have an accountability system where we look out for each other, but we take responsibility for ourselves, and it works. And it made me realise that is how our society in general would work. We don't need all these laws and all these oppressions, and like that ranger pulling up before me going to fear that I was going to get a fine for my dogs. Sorry, there's a wind picking up. There's a wind picking up. It's a breeze for me, but I know that for the camera, it gets this really horrible sound. Basically, as soon as I saw that ranger vehicle, I thought, oh, he's here to give me a dog fine because of revenue raising. I went, Nadina, let that go. That's fear-based. And I go up to him and just chat to him. He was just looking at the river. So, yep, I let the fear go. As soon as it came up, I said, let it go. Let it go. Please. But destiny is an interesting thing. Like when we go with what is meant to be, it takes the pressure out of trying to control and direct the situation. So what I've shared with many of you over time, and one of the things I've been learning a lot, is when someone has grown up with an extreme amount of abuse, they do, as far as I'm aware, one of two things. One, they completely give up their power and they concede to authorities and power, and they become like a shadow of their being and a caricature, and they give their power away to everyone. They're very puppeted, very manipulatable, very not gullible, very, they just don't stand up for themselves. They're a complete and utter, in every sense, doormat, but they are absolutely manipulatable because they don't hold any true sense of self-worth or self-esteem or blah, blah. So that's one side of growing up with a lot of abuse. And the other side is someone, there might be more than two, but the other side is someone grows up being really accountable, really productive, really an overachiever. They feel like they've got to hold the reins. They feel like they've got to control the situation, like that they've got to No, there is actually 4 levels to this. I just realised. Okay, so each of those 2 levels, there's the people being abused that give up all their power, and then there's the people being abused that go out of their way to create power. They're the two. They're the two paradigms that we're working in, and within those 2 paradigms, what actually happens is there's quite a few different gamuts within those 2 paradigms of giving up all their power or trying to become all powerful. And I'm in the category of someone that had to, because I was as a very young child, had to work out how to bring food to the house, how to feed my sisters and brothers, how to protect my mother, how to protect me and my kids, me and my siblings. I had to do things like if it was raining and our roof was blowing off, because it's just tin on logs tied down to other logs with rope, and this storm went to blow our roof off, and I'm going, I think I was 9, how do I keep this roof from flying off? So I had to go into problem solving mode, protection mode, warrior princess, like no princess there, warrior, just warrior, outright warrior protector mode. There was no space there for me to let someone come in and nurture me, or be vulnerable and trust that someone else would look out for me, because there was these little children younger than me that I felt that if I didn't step up to look after them, then I would die. And I told you all the story a really long time ago of when this person said to me, could you please just be a kid? Could you please just be a kid and hang out with the other kids for a while and just have fun? Come and stay at my house, because I grew up in a commune from from 9 to 14, and I went, okay. So I went and stayed with her and her partner and their 2 kids, and then my brother wanted to join us, so he came along and joined us, and we got the normal kid thing, like being fed, having a comfy, clean bed to sleep in, normal kid stuff. And she said, I really want to look after you. I really, really want to give you the life that you deserve. And so she wanted to talk to my mum about taking me on and helping me learn to read and write, and, giving me a childhood. When I went back to actually get some of my stuff to go back to her place, to our humpy, whereas she lived in a proper built home because she had an amazing husband who was really like jack of all trades. And for any of you white Talibans who know who I'm talking about, I think you know who I'm talking about. She's a phenomenal woman. I have to get her permission if I can use her name on YouTube. But she tried so hard to give me a sense of what a childhood is like. Now, I went back to get some of my stuff. I didn't own very much. I went back to get some of my stuff. And the littlest sibling that I had, the nappy hadn't been changed since I'd left 3 days ago. And I didn't know it's been since I left, but the reason why I think it's been since I left, because I could see in the rubbish bin that, because my mother, look, she used disposable nappies, okay? And there was this, my sister's genitals and buttock area was just completely and utterly a swarm of maggots. Like, we're talking about, and from that point on now, I've always been sickened by the idea of maggots and worms, and I try really hard not to be with wormies. But I just thought at that point, I cannot leave these kids alone. If I leave them alone, I'll die. And then I had to go back to this lady and say, sorry, I can't be with you and let you give me a life of being a kid. I have to keep these kids alive. And then she said to me, it's not your responsibility. That should be an adult's responsibility. And then I think she tried to get the community to step up and help out, but they didn't realise that my mother was on the autism spectrum. No one really understood my mother. No one really helped her out the way that she needed, because back then mental health illness wasn't seen. But what I knew was my mother loved us. To the nth degree, she loved us, but she just wasn't capable. Even as a young kid, I could see she wasn't doing anything out of maliciousness. It wasn't because she didn't love us. So I really stepped up in that over care. I became a carer at a really young age, and I just lost all of my youth of that youthfulness of where you learn how to make mistakes and you learn how to surrender to someone and trust someone and know that someone's got your back and that you're going to be okay and that you can go to someone for help. I didn't have any of that. I was the one that was responsible for everything, not just my siblings, but also my mother. Also, the safety of our home and making sure we had food in the house. And it's taken me a long time to realise that my biggest trauma to heal is actually trusting destiny. I've actually come to realise just in the last, I think, week, there's a little Xenovita. I didn't get her, she was running. I had to be mindful of the vehicle. I realised I've taken some video shots where the license plate has been shown, and I realise I've been very mindful of that. And I've got to be mindful of the information that goes out, because, yeah, it can happen. People can actually do something to hurt you. But I know God's protecting me, but I've also got to be clever. Let me just find it's going to sit on this little pile of stuff here. It's so funny. I'll turn this around again. So just remember those two trees down there, that one and that one is where I normally park the car. And then on the other side is where the bankment goes down. That's where I've taken some videos and I've sat there. And then it's sand. That's where the dogs do all that manic running around. And that's where the little pond was, just so you can visualise. Because I've taken a lot of video footage from this particular stance point. But anyways, the thing about this river flowing like this, right? It's predictable. Like, the people who live here know that this is going to happen. But as that ranger said, it's fine. It's bigger. Just in one night of rain, we had 1 night of rain, right? And then we had one deluge, that lasted about 10 minutes. And this is the. Oh, Xena, be careful. I'm a bit worried about her going too far out. She's swimming. She should be all right there. But if she goes out there, it's too full on. She loves swimming. Someone's drink bottle rubbish. I hope she doesn't go out where it's too flowy, because I won't be able to save her. She's very heavy. She's quite strong. Alvin, no. Thank you. Anyways, cycles of this river is cycles of life, right? And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about stay near, please. Segue. I was here yesterday and the river was a lot lower than it is now, and someone turned up who's lived in Northern for 16 years, and he goes, and he had a dog, and my dogs and his dog, him and his partner's dog, which was a cattle dog type thing, a fluffy thing. I had to make sure Alvin didn't hurt it because he's strong. They went swimming, and we were really worried about them going too far out. He goes, yeah, nah, if they go out there, he goes, that looks a lot more gentle than what it really is. Like, you look out there, if you went out there, that's actually deceiving. You might not be able to see the flow in the camera, but there's a big depth of water under there, and it's like an undertow. So I would hate for my dogs to go too far out. But you know what? I think they're clever enough. To feel it. What do you reckon? But I still have to be mindful because she's only 6 months old. So she's... Oh, so much I want to share with you all. So, Destiny, right? I got left with these two dogs, right? I got left with two young dogs, right? And a country out, a town rural house and a big block of land. And the house and the yard needed a lot of work. Like, the retic needed to be done. Like, we're talking about huge amounts of stuff that needs to be done. And I got left to deal with it all on my own. And because I had two young dogs, I couldn't. One of them was 3 months old at the time, and one of them was 16 months from memory at the time. And I couldn't leave them alone. I had to monitor their interactions, right? So I had a job that I let go of, but the job wasn't working for me anyways. The job was causing me a lot of stress. Anyways, I had to, and I had my doctor, my counsellor, a heap of friends, the church people, everyone saying, please, you must just take time for yourself. You must take time to relax, to recoup. I was collapsing all the time. I couldn't breathe. I was in such despair. I was collapsing up to 14 times a day from the depths of despair, and having all these, like, what felt like heart attacks. And it was a really horrifying time. And I knew that their sterilisation was pending. I knew the big dog, the male dog, Alvin, had to be sterilised, and that the young dog was going to come into heat by time. And it was really stressful. I was thinking, how can I get this money for their sterilisation? And it was keeping me up at night. Like, all my money issues were keeping me up. Now, I've done two things. I've done lots of things in the last 3 months, but two things. I've shared one thing on Facebook or on YouTube already, and I'll really quickly share that. And I'll share this one about the sterilisation. I basically needed to get some plumbing work done urgently. And I went, I'm going to go down. This is a small country town. I'm going to go down. I'm going to say, this is my situation. Could you do the work and let me pay off $50 a fortnight? Yes. Well, I originally said $100 a fortnight, and then I had to say, sorry, it's going to have to come down to $50 a fortnight. And even that, I can't even afford to pay you, but I will. And they said yes. Isn't that cute? And I was having some major water issues on my property, major water issues. Like, I had taps that weren't turning off. I had a lot of water wastage. So that's been a blessing. And then I went down to the vets and I said, look, this is my situation. Is there any way, because if I can't get this fixed, I'm going to have to do like a GoFundMe for the sterilisation, or I'm going to have to ask for yet another loan from someone. I already owe money for helping me fix the ute up. I already owe money for someone helping me pay the ute rego. People been helping me out with food, like food for myself, food for the dogs, petrol money. People been helping me out getting plaster for the house. It's like, I don't want to be owing so much money by the time I finally get a job. It's going to take me 6 years to pay off all the debts, right? Blah, blah. And I went down to the vet and they said, well, there's this vet pay program. All right. So I signed up for the vet pay program, which is actually, just got to get the keys out of my pocket, which actually, I've been allocated a $1,500 vet loan. So it's really cool because this vet pay, it's called vet pay, everyone, and it's set up deliberately so vets don't have to talk to people about money, because vets don't want to be animals not being looked after or dealing with stressed out humans of animals because of money. They want to make the animals healthy and well. They love animals. Vets go into veterinary because they love animals. So, my big dog here, I'll turn this around, okay? You ready? My beautiful, big, handsome Alvin, who's now 17 months old, he's booked in for his sterilisation. Thank the Lord. And little Zena Beaner, who's 6 months old, she's booked in for her microchipping and the important. I don't actually believe in all the VAX stuff, but with dogs, I just accept it on some level, because I don't know, I just accept it. Also, if you need to put them in a kennel, because if you have to go somewhere, you have to put them in a kennel. They need kennel cough and all that sort of stuff. But anyways, she's booked in for a microchipping, which is really important, because if I lose her, she's microchipped to me, which at the moment she's not. If she ran away because of fireworks or thunder or something, and no one can link her to me ever again. So that's organised, guys, and that's trusting destiny. Well, okay, no, sorry, it's me being proactive. Like, I'm thinking, what within this destiny that I'm in, what are the solutions? But I'm not trying to balk against my destiny. Look, okay, sorry, I'm surrendering to the abundance. This is what it is. I'm surrendering to the abundance of life, and that my destiny and my life is perfect and is exactly as it's meant to be. God has my back and all is well. So in that, I'm always looking for the solutions. But for the first time in my life, so I'm 52 years old now, for the first time in my life, I'm doing it knowing in every way that's 100% completely okay that I ask for help. I've let go of my pride. I've let go of thinking I have to do it on my own, or I have to make it work out on my own, or I have to suffer to the nth degree because I've got to make it work. I've got to be the one. I'm the soldier. I'm the warrior. I'm the this. I'm the that. I've got to make it work. Somehow I've got to be responsible. I've got to be self-accountable. I. And you know what I finally realized? As a child of God, we're supposed to share our burdens without ego. We're supposed to share our burdens without any sense. See, when we give to another to help them out, we do that without pride. We do that. But we also need to receive without pride. Okay? These are the two things I'm mostly learning from being a child of God and from reading the Bible, that all burdens are meant to be shared. Children of God are meant to share their burdens with each other so that we can be in the most uplifted experience to actually be of service to God and service to humanity. But it's through those experiences of trials and tribulations, of being on our knees and broken, of reaching out to God, of reaching out to our fellowship, of reaching out to our community. He's got a big stick in his mouth. Can you see it? Yesterday when he was playing the river, he had a big log that was almost bigger than him, and he was tussling it because he's a pig hunter, bull Arab cross Irish wolfhound. He can tussle down a big pig or a big kangaroo. So he grabbed this big log. He grabbed this big floating log out of the river last night, and I was really wishing I'd had my video camera because he just grabs it out of the water. I'm like, how strong is a dog to be able to pull up a big wet log out of a flowing river against the flow of the river and lift it up into the air like it's like a feather? Oh, it was so impressive. And he was leaping. He was having so much fun. He was leaping from island to island that were all filled up. There was all this water between. Our walk yesterday was so magical. As the water comes down more, and we've got more options. We're really flooded in at the moment, and there's a lot we can't do. But when the water goes down a bit, I'll make sure I always have my camera on me, okay, from now on. But yeah, this lesson of destiny, what is, that thing of what is as is. I've been saying this on my Facebook. All you've been following me for years. I've been saying is as is. Hang on. Get off my hat. Oh, it just got wet. Stop it, Zena. All right, she just covered my phone in water and me in water. Lovely. Right, so anyways, what I want to say to you guys, what was I say? All is as is. I was doing a mantra, okay? So I used to live a life of, I'm going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to fake it till I make it. One of these days I'm going to be peaceful in my heart. One of these days I'm going to be truly happy. One of these days I'm going to gentle. One of these days I'm going to really believe this all is as is motto. I'm really going to be tapped into the abundance of all. I'm really going to be living my talk. I'm really going to be honoring what I know is my destiny, which is divine abundance, prosperity, being in a place of complete creativity, like waking up in the morning and just boof into my creativity, writing my books, in my garden. Everything that I knew was my destiny. I was literally faking it, knowing that I had to stay in that space. I had to keep myself in a place of love and abundance and not fear. Okay, I had to. I was floundering in every way. Like, I'm talking about years and years and years and years and years in my life dealing with why me? why me? Oh, my life's so hard. Oh, this, oh, this, oh. Like my external circumstances were really bringing me down. And I was trying to pretend that all is as is. Like I was literally saying all is as is, as is. I'm just accepting it because I have to force myself to accept it. I'm accepting it because I have to force myself to believe everything's going to be okay. Blah, 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 blah. Well, now it's actual reality. Now it's reality. All right? Now, I realised this morning, I was praying to God, right? I pray. I talk to God all the time. And I had the most cutest, beautiful prayers you could imagine. Like, one day I'm going to be courageous enough to actually share with you how I talk to God and what I actually say. And I do a prayer and a praise. Now, because I do this Bible study group on Tuesday, and we do a prayer and a praise. So we actually, like, we go through, Zena, Alvin, we go through this, like, we do this actual Bible study of the Bible, but then there's a prayer and a prayer and a praise point, and I love it. No jumping on me. Sorry, they were just in the water before. I'm a bit mindful that they might drown. I don't want them going to water too deep because I don't want them to drown. Anyways, aren't they beautiful? So anyways, yeah, what we do is we obviously discuss elements of the Bible, but then we're also doing a prayer and a praise point, which I adore. I think it's so well balanced. So we're praising God for everything that we want to praise Him for. Well, we praise for not everything, but one praise point and then one prayer point. And so I've started doing that at home. What am I going to praise God for? What am I going to pray for? And today I literally was in bed in absolute ecstasy because I had so much to praise God for. So grateful. Like, so grateful. Got so much to praise God for. Like, everything is, like, it's so aligned and it's so perfect. And I just was like, thank you, God. Thank you. I just had so many things to thank God for. And then I come down to the river and I'm like, I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm doing a YouTube today and it's about destiny and it's about going with as is. And I remember that statement I used to say, all is as is. And now it's not fake it till I make it. It's real. It's actually real. Like, I have a sense of peace in me that I've never had in my life before. I have a feeling of self-love and self-worth that I have never had before. I have such trust in my destiny and that I'm okay and that I'm protected and everything's going to be okay. And that everything's actually, really as it's meant to be. And such gratitude. And I just can't impart this amazing feeling. I have a friend that says, I want to get to where you're at. How did you get there, Nadina? And I'm like going, Katya, it's from surrender. It's from surrender. It's just from surrendering. Like, I've surrendered my control. I have surrendered. And I realised about a week ago, I was sharing it with the ladies at the Bible study. And I was sharing with them how one of my biggest forms of trauma, I think, has been that I've never been able to be vulnerable, really surrender to someone looking out for me or looking after me, or there's always been a part of me that's always had to make sure I'm responsible in everything. And what I'm trying to say to that is that I have to be responsible for everything, that I have to be self-accountable for everything, that I have this huge blah, 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 blah. But that's a lie. That's actually not true, because humans are a pack animal. We're a community animal. We're humans need each other to survive. We're not isolatory people. We can live and have our own alone time. We need our alone time. We need our isolatory alone time, but not in isolation, not having someone there. I have a neighbor, a direct neighbor. Like she's my direct neighbor. Like we share a fence, okay? She is one of the most amazing friends and neighbors I could ever imagine. I have all these amazing friends in Northam. I have the best friends in Northam that I've ever had in my whole life. I've only been here 16 months. I've also got friends from Perth who are stepping up, really stepping up and stepping out of 3D and coming to 5D and joining me on 5D and calling me sister now. A long-term friend of 20 years is finally accepting that my love for her and finally accepting my trust in her, that I've always been there for her. Like finally actually accepting that she deserves my friendship and deserves my love and care, and reciprocating to her, not reciprocating completely because she's not capable just yet to reciprocate how I have been for her, but reciprocating in the sense that she now accepts and honors that she can trust me. And now I'm her sister. All right, I'm her family now. All right, she's always been family to me, but now I'm family to her. Okay, so that's a really long-term friendship that's agreed was lost, but in my heart knew not. There's no way I've lost that friendship, and no, she's come back with bounds, leaps and bounds. And yeah, I could go on and on and on. Hit the 51:38 mark. I've also got to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. Yeah, there's so much I want to share with you all. I'm loving my YouTube. I'm loving this YouTube. I keep getting, I know that there's some people with their YouTube channels that share twice a day, and mine might even get to that point because I'm getting inundated with information of how to share and teach how it is to where I am now. And if I can get this information to someone in the early 20s or mid 15s and save them all this extra turmoil and tribulation, that would be wonderful. However, in saying that, you know, I am what I am now because of all my traumas, because of all my trials and tribulations, you know, and I have to be grateful. I thought they'd run off. I have to be grateful. I have to be really, really grateful for everything. That's what I mean. All is as is. And we can't change anything from the past. We sure can utilize it to empower us and to benefit. And it is through the process of surrender. True deep surrender. In true deep, whoa. You know, it's the process of surrendering in trust that all is well and that we are protected and that destiny has our back. The abundant infinite source of all is so prosperous. All is possible. All is provided for. Anything we need, everything we need is there. You know, the abundant source of all, the universal energy, the godly divine energy, like that is so abundant, like it's limitless. It's only our lack and our fear that blocks us from tapping into that abundance. So, and that includes health, that includes all of our health issues. They're narratives, they're limiting narratives. That's us being stuck in our 3D earthly body, holding on to a narrative and a story to keep us small. See, miracles are part of the abundant infinite source of all. Miracles are actually a normal part of living in the abundant source of all, living within God's destiny. Miracles are like every single second. Miracles are the abundant source of all and living within God upon surrendering that we are safe and protected. We're accountable. We need to step up and do our bit, but we are not 100% responsible. We are part of a team, part of a community, part of a collective, and we all look out for each other. You know what I mean? The wind stopped. I was holding my hat, my what do you call it? My phone in my hat. Anyways, I've got to get going because I've got a really busy day today, which is why I brought the dogs down to the river early. And I'll just end this video with showing you the river again. It's fascinating. Yesterday it was, in my opinion, more fascinating because it was so turbulent and you could see the shape of the river. Right now it's just all underwater. But apparently, which I find a bit scary, that ranger just told me that we got more rain come on Thursday and then be flooded in, like the bridge will be covered in. And that's a bit scary. That means we won't be able to get in or out of Northern. But only for a few days or a week or something. Isn't that beautiful? Pardon me, sorry about the burp. Isn't that absolutely stunning? Just heaven. Truly heaven, everyone. Look at the beautiful blue sky. Alvin being a hippopotamus. Anyways, oh my gosh, I've got some videos that I took yesterday. One is I was going to take one this morning of my cat pouncing on a mouse. God, she did it so fast. It was like 1 minute he's just there by my leg and I'm patting him, and then he goes, whoosh, it was like a little torpedo, and he torpedoed underneath the cupboard and comes out with the mouse in his mouth. Like so fast, it blew my mind. Yesterday, and it's the same family because it was a tiny little one. Yesterday morning, I haven't posted this video yet, but yesterday morning at 5:30, I was really thirsty. So I wake up around 5:30, between 4:30 and 5:30. I'm awake, but I don't want to get out of bed. Turned on the light before I had my water because I had my phone on the table. I didn't want to knock the glass of water onto my phone. So lucky I did, because there was a mouse in my glass of water. And I'm like, ugh, but I didn't. I obviously put it down straight away. And then 3 hours later, I felt so bad about this. 3 hours guys, 3 hours later, when I actually got up, it was daylight at this point, I took the water to throw it out into the ground, then realised the poor little mouse was alive and desperately pedaling for its life. So it was on its little hind feet with its nose and its eyes above the water. So the water was just under its nose, basically, the poor little darling, and it was on the tiptoes and it was pedaling for its life for minimum 3 hours, because I had first saw it in the glass at 5:30. Don't get rid of it till 8:30. So I don't know how long the poor little mouse was in that glass for. And I took a video of it, and it's like, oh, and then I warmed it, brought it back to life, took it up out after a while when it, started moving around and getting feisty again. I put it up the back and made a little home for it and everything. So that was one baby, and I was like, so this one I did a prayer for, hoping that one survives, because it just, what a horrendous experience to be in a glass of water paddling for your life, just on your high tiptoes with just your nose above the water for hours. Paddle. If he stopped paddling, he would have drowned. Like, wow, that's a really horrible experience. And anyway, it's the same family. I would say it's the same family. That little mouse's brother or sister got pounced on today, and then yesterday I found half of a mouse. Like, it's so macabre, half, and it's the front half. It's so macabre, like half of the mouse just sitting there. Like, good on you, Ollie. He's really a good mouse hunter. But I just found it really interesting that the ones he catches, that I don't have to see their faces or hear their screams. It's like, oh, good on you, Ollie, for getting that one. The one who I, for 3 hours knew he was paddling in the water. I was like, please survive. But yeah, mice, hey? Anyways, the dogs had enough of a run, so that's good, because, normally, as I say, we walk along there and up there for about an hour, and that's all flooded to the fence line. We can't walk that. So, oh no, we have a problem here with people littering. I hate it. I'm picking up rubbish a lot, And he's just picked up a plastic bag. Forget about his mouth. Anyways, I'll just do one more shot of this because it's so amazing. So that's all the area that's normally a road. This is the road. We drive down, park down. And when we come back to do more work, to do more YouTubing, it's either going to be higher or lower. If it gets too much higher, I won't even be able to drive here. Ooh, well, actually, I'll have to drive around and find somewhere else, or ring the council and ask them if there's anywhere I can walk my dogs. Anyways, God bless, God bless, God bless. Yeah, 369 Thrive Tribe. Remember, tribes are crucial. We are a collective. We are a community. We need each other. We need each other to thrive, okay? We really need each other to thrive. So, God bless, and speak to you, I don't know, like later today or tomorrow. Okay, keep well. Bye. All right. Always have to remember how to turn this off. Okay, sweet. Keep well. Love you all so much. Bye.